We're a crew. No, wait, that's what this whole thing is supposed to be about.
Where we go one, we go all.
Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. Good to see you again. Come on over here. Give me a high five. No, not like that. Just not. No, it's not a fist bump. Just, all right, you know what? Forget it. It's awkward. We got Q posts to read. Keep in mind, I always read through these once. And if you want to skip through to my analyses, just click on the button below. Let's begin. 45 minutes after the hour of 11, we get this response to an Anon who posts a tweet from Donald Trump Jr. Congrats to the Democrats, who after last night are now officially the party of impeachment, open borders, abolishing ICE, banning the Second Amendment, and unbridled socialism. Woohoo! The Democratic Party of John F. Kennedy is dead, R.I.P. And the Anon says, this tweet struck me as odd, almost as if it were a marker of sorts. Q comes on saying, if you continue to proceed down this dangerous path, only know that we are prepared. You should know this based on earlier drops regarding SA/National Guard military assets activate U.S. soil. The game is over when the public knows. The fight to keep the lights off is all that matters to you. You will fail. The American people are awake. You lost control. Sheep no more. You underestimated their resolve and their ability to free think away from the pipeline narrative. We will declass. We will shine light. There is nowhere to hide. No amount of money, influence, or power can stop this. Our rights to secure and protect at all costs then become justified. We stand at the ready. Red wave, white squall. In God we trust. Q. Adding on to that at 58 minutes past the hour of 11, Q says, if you were smart, stupid, you know what just occurred at the meeting in Russia. Attempts to frame Russia/POTUS optics are failing and will soon be exposed. In brackets, we have objective. To keep POTUS away from Putin failed. Bolton plus Putin should scare you. Enemies are allies. Evil has no place here. America is no longer for sale. The age of taxing our citizens across the world while entry to our markets is free is over. The world will unite in this cause, and then we have in parentheses GVE/RVW. Forced immigration pushers will be exposed. The why. Read the Bible. God wins. Q. 17 minutes after the hour of 12, we stand with the good people of Iran who are currently battling their installed regime for freedom. True rule, the people have the power. Rise up and demand they be removed. At some point, military generals will act with the will of the people simply because their soldiers are those same people and have no choice. We stand with you. We are monitoring the situation closely. Stay safe. God bless. Q. 31 minutes after the hour of 12, we have what looks to be some of the Peter Strzok testimony. P.S. Text taken out of context. P.S. While emotional over the election, I conduct myself with utmost integrity, without bias, while undertaking any such investigation, especially a high-profile case against the POTUS. P.S. In hindsight, it was a bad idea to openly discuss my feelings, but in no way did those feelings impact my ability to conduct a fair and proper investigation. We followed where the facts took us. P.S. I decline to answer that question on advice from counsel. When you state where facts led us, what facts are you referring to? To date, there have been zero evidence of any such collusion or connections between the Trump campaign and Russia. In fact, the only facts discovered thus far have been between the Clinton camp and Russia and other foreign groups. P.S. On advice of counsel, I decline to answer that question. P.S. Because of the ongoing investigation, such answers may violate the security of such investigations. Mr. S., I believe nobody here is buying what you are selling. I believe there is a serious effort on the part of the people more senior than you to remove Mr. Trump from office out of fear of what this administration may uncover. I believe you are being dishonest in your answers and frankly shocked you agreed to come here today. I believe everyone on this panel, minus those from the other side of the aisle, knew exactly what your answers would be. And if you think we are going to sit here and accept these answers, you would be a foolish. You would be a foolish? We are also following the facts, and once we uncover more, which we will act accordingly. I'm glad you retained counsel. You'll need one, and hopefully they are very, very good. Q. 9 minutes after the hour of 1, We get this, looks like it's a news program displaying a tweet of Donald Trump. The hearing of Peter Strzok and the other hating frauds at the FBI and DOJ should be shown to the public on live television, not a closed-door hearing that nobody will see. We should expose these people for what they are. There should be total transparency. 20 minutes after the hour of 1, an Anon posts this here from Justice Anthony Kennedy. My dear Mr. President, this letter is a respectful and formal notification of my decision, effective July 31st of this year, to end my regular active status as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court while continuing to serve in a senior status as provided in 28 U.S.C. For a member of the legal profession, it is the highest of honors to serve on this court. Please permit me by this letter to express my profound gratitude for having had the privilege to seek in each case how best to know, interpret, and defend the Constitution and the laws that must always conform to its mandates and promises. Respectfully and sincerely. All right. And then we have a link. Q says his choice. Remember, Kennedy was the swing vote. No more. Locked and loaded. RBG next. 57 minutes after the hour 2, we have, quote, I will not be filing for re-election to Congress nor seeking any other political or elected office. Instead, I will be returning to the justice system, Gowdy said in a statement. Should we add him to the list? Q. 58 minutes after the hour of 3, are you awake? MSM equals propaganda tool of the D Party. POTUS, economy, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, job creating record, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, GPD, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, fair trade, protect America, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, manufacturing, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, record low unemployment, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, tax reform, more take-home money, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, save the world from North Korea, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, stock market gains, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, undo harmful regulations, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, boost U.S. energy dominance, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, protect U.S. homeland, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, combating opioids, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, accountability, audit Pentagon, SC, reorganize executive branch, etc., not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, protecting life, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, helping veterans, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, peace through strength, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS, restore confidence, respect of U.S., not good enough. Impeach. All while under constant attack. Do you not believe the truth is spreading? Do you not believe they are losing their slave grip hold? Do you not believe we are winning? Then we have a Breitbart link. Silent majority no more. Fight, fight, fight. Where we go one, we go all. What a wonderful day. Q. Adding on to that at 1 minute after the hour of 4, Q says GDP error. Link to article placed incorrectly. Busy day. Q. 21 minutes after the hour of 6. Sound familiar? And we have a link. Q. 24 minutes after the hour of 6 in response to an Anon who says, Q, not now. We were listening to some ND guy talking before Trump speaks. Q says, just landed. You have time. Q. 36 minutes after the hour of 6. Adding on to that. Good lot on Fox. FBI attorney instructing PS not to answer. Answers regarding text not believable. Sound familiar? Rest assured justice will be served. Q. 46 minutes after the hour of 6, we've got this picture here. Q says, we see you. So many VIPs at the rally. Q. 8 minutes after the hour of 7, we get this fine looking crew right here. Q says, hashtag winning. Patriots one and all. Q. And 26 minutes after the hour of 8, we've got a link. Coincidence? These people are sick. Q. All right, taking you back to the beginning, and Anon turns us on to this tweet from Donald Trump Jr. Congrats to the Democrats who, after last night, are now officially the party of impeachment, open borders, abolishing ICE, banning the Second Amendment, and unbridled socialism. Wow, that's a hell of a platform right there. But you can just put, yes, we can. The Democratic Party of John F. Kennedy is dead. R.I.P. Well, this is an interesting reference to John F. Kennedy once again. And this Anon agrees, saying this tweet struck me as odd, almost as if it were a marker of sorts. Now Q comes on, tells us to step aside, wants to speak to the deep state. If you continue to proceed down this dangerous path, only know that we are prepared. You should know this based on earlier drops regarding Saudi Arabia, National Guard, military assets activate U.S. soil. And I'm assuming this is probably a reference, could be a reference to the Las Vegas shooting. It's also, Q had mentioned before that we do have the National Guard over there in Saudi Arabia. And of course, that came right after the Las Vegas shooting. We had this cleaning of the Saudi family. So that is what I'm guessing is the references to. Also, keep in mind the National Guard can be activated during times of emergency. And of course, the executive order from President Trump has stated that we are technically in a state of emergency. So that is my guess, but either way, it looks like Q is saying, "Come at me, bro. The game is over when the public knows. The fight to keep the lights off is all that matters to you." Yeah, that's all they can really do when you're a bunch of cockroaches. You just want the lights to be off so you can kind of go around and do your thing. But once you turn the lights off, all the cockroaches go and they take off, right? You will fail. The American people are awake. Yeah, more and more. We keep seeing these rallies getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, the protests get smaller and smaller and smaller. The American people are awake. We're starting to see it in our... I think it's starting to even seep through in our culture. I think even Hollywood is realizing that some of their rhetoric is just going too far. They've kind of had to soften their stance a little bit. Some of them, of course. Q says you lost control. Sheep no more. Yeah, if we've got anything to do with it. You underestimated their resolve and their ability to free think away from the pipeline narrative. Yeah, imagine that. We could turn off your news and go find some other channels on YouTube or Gab or BitChute or wherever you're on and go find somebody actually speaking some truth. Q says we will declass. And we've known this. We've been very impatient with this. It's very difficult to be patient with it. But we know that the Whopper with cheese is coming. And that eventually when this all gets declassed, we will shine some light. There is nowhere to hide. Yeah, you can't do that in the light, cockroaches. No amount of money, influence, or power can stop this. Our rights to secure and protect at all costs then become justified. We stand at the ready. Red wave. White squall. In God we trust. And of course, White Squall was the movie where we heard Where We Go One, We Go All. White Squall is a 1996 American disaster survival feature film directed by Ridley Scott. It's a coming-of-age film in which a group of high school and college-age teenagers sign up for several months of training aboard a sail ship, a brigantine. They travel halfway around the globe when suddenly they are challenged by a severe storm, which is the White Squall. It's just it's a bunch of white clouds. There's no black clouds. The film stars Jeff Bridges in the role of the captain called Skipper, his wife played by Carolyn Goodall, and a supporting cast portraying a group of nearly a dozen student sailors. I vaguely remember this movie. I think it was basically Dead Poets Society, but they were on a boat. But either way, they were all banded around. They got in a wreck. They banded around the skipper, and everybody learned a little something about themselves. But that's where we got the term, where we go one, we go all. So, Q is puffing up the chest, saying, "Come at me, bro. Do you even lift?" Q adds on, "If you were smart, stupid, or if you're smart, stupid, I don't know if I'm smart or stupid, but might be, not sure, you know what just occurred at the meeting in Russia. Attempts to frame Russia / POTUS optics are failing and will soon be exposed. Objective to keep POTUS away from Putin failed. Bolton plus Putin should scare you." And of course, we are talking about Grammy Award winning Michael Bolton. How am I supposed to live without you? No, I'm just kidding. It is National Security Advisor John Bolton who was in Russia, and here is what he had to say about their meeting.
President Trump asked me to come and speak to Russian authorities about the possibility of a meeting between him and President Putin, and there will be an announcement on that tomorrow, simultaneously in Moscow and Washington.
Now, White House officials said back in Da Nang that there was nothing to talk about in a big bilateral meeting, which is why they met on the sidelines of the summit. But there certainly is a lot to talk about now in a bilateral meeting. Russia's aggression into Crimea, other destabilizing moves, the nuclear arsenal. Bolton said he also expects the topic of Russian meddling in the 2016 election to come up. Listen here.
The purpose today was not to reach any conclusions, but to help lay the basis for the conversation between the two presidents. I expect that between them, they'll proceed along the issues that they regard as most important.
So John Bolton, with his sweet mustache, going over to Russia, setting up a summit. And as you heard them say, they want to discuss the meddling in the 2016 elections. And of course, if you're smart, you know that's a good thing because you know exactly where that will lead. And if you're stupid, you think, here goes President Trump banging the war drums, going over there to our biggest enemy, the ones who spied on us, and now he's probably going to start a nuclear war, just like he almost did with North Korea. Well, the attempts to frame that Russia POTUS optics are now failing and will soon be exposed. I would assume when we have the summit. Should be a very, very big deal. And we'll hear when exactly that summit is, probably in a matter of hours. I'm getting this late for a lot of you guys, so by the time you're hearing this, you'll probably be hearing it very soon. Now, the objective to keep POTUS away from Putin failed, and that was a big objective, right? Because they were trying to pit us as enemies. Remember, sum of all fears. They wanted us to fight with another world power, whether it be Russia, China, didn't matter. They wanted to sell us all out, start a big, big war, damage both sides, and then allow the deep state to emerge through the EU so that everybody could live in their little socialist utopia. Awesome. Well, it turns out enemies are allies. I feel like I just heard that before.
But, sometimes our worst enemies are our so-called friends or allies, right? But, sometimes our worst enemies are our so-called friends or allies, right?
That's where I've heard it before. Sometimes our worst enemies are our so-called friends or allies. And let me just turn you on to what Vladimir Putin had to say about all of this.
It gives me great regret to state that Russian-U.S. relations are not in their best shape. I said it several times publicly and will reiterate it today. It is the result of acute internal political battle in the U.S. But your visit to Moscow gives us hope that we will be able to take first steps to restore full-fledged relations between Russia and the U.S.
Acute internal political battle. Sounds like he nailed it. Well, look, evil has no place here. America is no longer for sale. The age of taxing our citizens across the world while entry to our markets is free is over. And it looks like the world is starting to take note of that. The world will unite in this cause. Good versus evil, right versus wrong. Yeah, I suppose whatever, if something is to get exposed at this summit, it is not going to be nearly as political as it is really just flat out good and evil, right versus wrong. Forced immigration pushers will be exposed as to the why, and you know what that means. Hopefully that is going to lead up to the sources of our human trafficking problem. Q says, read the Bible. God wins. Sounds a little bit apocalyptic. All right, let's move on. Next post comes in at 17 minutes after the hour of 12. Q says, we stand with the good people of Iran who are currently battling their installed regime for freedom. True rule, the people have the power. Rise up and demand they be removed. Well, we're seeing this already in increasing numbers all over Iran. And of course, most of us are seeing it in the video from the Grand Bazaar in Tehran, where people are taking to the streets, calling for the removal of their leadership and new elections. They're also upset about, of course, their falling rial, which seems to be a direct result of this killed Iran deal. And now the people are waking up and seeing exactly what's going on, and they're not having it anymore. Now, Q has mentioned that this situation was next and that it might be resolved by November. And let's hope that we can get this thing expedited, because the people clearly want their freedom. To the people of Iran, know that we are watching. At some point, military generals will act with the will of the people simply because their soldiers are those same people and have no choice. And we've seen this before. Happened in the Egyptian revolution as well, too. The soldiers took to the streets and just couldn't bear to shoot at their own family and neighbors. So to our Iranian friends, Mavag Bashi, we stand with you. We are monitoring the situation closely. Stay safe. Let us know how you're doing. And God bless Q. Next post comes in at 31 minutes after the hour of 12, and it looks to be part of Peter Strzok's testimony. And Q is getting us privy to some of this information that I can't help but think is going to be the talking points on Fox News for the next 2 weeks. So it starts off saying Peter Strzok texts are taken out of context. Yeah, I'm sure when you said you were going to fix everything, that was taken out of context. While emotional over the election, I conduct myself with utmost integrity without bias. Are you sure? While undertaking any such investigation, especially a high-profile case against the POTUS. He goes on to say, in hindsight, it was a bad idea to openly discuss my feelings, but in no way did those feelings impact my ability to conduct a fair and proper investigation. We followed where the facts took us. You're going to have to ask Flynn about that, I guess. I decline to answer that question on advice from counsel. Let me just translate that to you. Guilty. When you state where facts led us, what facts are you referring to? To date, there has been zero evidence of any such collusion or connections between the Trump campaign and Russia. This appears to be somebody that's interrogating whoever it is that's talking to Peter Strzok. In fact, the only facts discovered thus far have been between the Clinton camp and Russia and other foreign groups. Peter Strzok responds, on advice of counsel, I decline to answer that question. Ding, 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 ding. And he goes on to say again, because of the ongoing investigation, such answers may violate the security of such investigations. And we've got another set of ellipses again, so maybe Q is implying that there's some evidence there. And then we have whoever's questioning says, Mr. Strzok, I believe nobody here is buying what you were selling. I believe there is a serious effort on the part of the people more senior than you to remove Mr. Trump from office out of fear of what this administration may uncover. I believe you are being dishonest in your answers and frankly shocked you agreed to come here today. I believe everyone on this panel, minus those from the other side of this aisle, knew exactly what your answers would be. And if you think we are going to sit here and accept these answers, you would be a foolish. Wow, I've never been called a foolish before. We are also following the facts, and once we uncover more, which we will act accordingly. I'm glad you retained counsel. You'll need one, and hopefully they are very good. Sounds to me like Peter Strzok getting spanked. And then we've got these ellipses again. And I'm not exactly sure if they're kind of coming in different numbers, so I'm not sure if there's anything specific about the numbers. But Q did allude to the fact that this was used as far as in regards to evidence. So I'm assuming that they're referring to evidence, especially assuming that this guy says, we're also following the facts, and once we uncover more, which we will act accordingly. And he's telling Peter Strzok, I'm glad you retained counsel. You'll need one. So Peter Strzok is out there now on Front Street. And in the next post, at 9 minutes after the hour 1, we get this tweet from the 25th of June, where Donald Trump says the hearing of Peter Strzok and the other hating frauds at the FBI and DOJ should be shown to the public on live television, not a closed-door hearing that nobody will see. We should expose these people for what they are. There should be total transparency. So it looks like to me like Q is starting to put the hint out there, whereas we had kind of act to push, for this unredacted version of the report, of the IG report. Now it looks like Q might be nudging us to start demanding that we see some of these hearing videos. I wouldn't be surprised if they're already on video. It just may be something that needs to be released to the public. So that's the way I'm taking it, and I'm sticking to it. Let's move on. Next post comes in at 20 minutes after the hour of 1. We get this letter from Supreme Court Justice Anthony M. Kennedy. My dear Mr. President, this letter is a respectful and formal notification of my decision, effective July 31st of this year, to end my regular active status as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court while continuing to serve in a senior status as provided in 28 U.S.C. blah, 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 blah. For a member of the legal profession, it is the highest of honors to serve on this court. Please permit me by this letter to express my profound gratitude for having had the privilege to seek in each case how best to know, interpret, and defend the Constitution and the laws that must always conform to its mandates and promises. Respectfully and sincerely, Justice Kennedy. All right. And this Anon here is clipping this link, which is just to the official letter right here. Q responds by saying his choice. Remember, Kennedy was the swing vote. No more. Locked and loaded. RBG next. Yeah, this is probably going to overturn Roe versus Wade at some point, but Kennedy was the swing vote. Now, this is going to be a big, big deal. And of course, Trump is going to choose someone, which gives him a lot of power and gives him that swing vote. Q is also implying that RBG is next. And of course, RBG is Supreme Court Justice Ruth Darth Bader Ginsburg, the one who just loves the Pol Pot school of politics. She likes to head out to Vietnam and find out how Ho Chi Minh did it. She also thinks it's cool when you're 12 years old to Netflix and chill. So she's an interesting character. Creepy, to say the least. And it looks like Q's got the goods on her too. So could we be seeing her step down or be removed? I'm not really sure how that will go down. I have a feeling that a lady at her age will probably step down gracefully, or who knows? Could be ill health kind of thing. I don't want to speculate on those kind of stuff. But Q says locked and loaded, RBG next. So it looks like Q's got an RPG for RBG. Well, like I said, that would leave room for President Trump to appoint someone. And who would that be? Well, Q alludes to it in the next post, 57 minutes after the hour of 2. I will not be filing for re-election to Congress nor seeking any other political or elected office. Instead, I will be returning to the justice system, Gowdy said in a statement. Should we add him to the list? Q. So, doesn't look like it's necessarily a done deal, but looks like he's getting added to the list of potential Supreme Court judges, which would be very, very interesting. I know a lot of people have had mixed feelings on Trey Gowdy. I kind of think he's just sort of kept himself at a distance for a particular reason. Maybe this is the reason. So we shall see. Alan Dershowitz went on Fox News and had this to say about the situation.
What is your advice to the president right now? And partisanship aside.
Pick a highly qualified person, not based on any agendas, but pick somebody who will go down in history as one of the great justices.
Mm-hmm. Would that make President Trump a great president? I mean, having...
It would contribute to his legacy considerably.
Mm-hmm. Do you anticipate others, shall I just ask? So, I mean, he'll have had the opportunity for two.
Yeah, with this, we may see some of the older justices saying, look, we've given up, we're not going to win, so we might as well retire. So it wouldn't surprise me if Justice Ginsburg retired after this appointment. But she'd wait to see who was appointed.
But see, let me just jump in and ask you, why would she do that, though? Because in some ways, I would think she would feel as though it's more important for her to be there on the bench.
Because she doesn't want to spend the rest of her life dissenting. If she can make a difference, she would stay. But if she can't make a difference, she might very well leave.
So there you go, straight from the Dersh. Looks like Ruth Bader Ginsburg could be next. Now, I'm not exactly sure if Gowdy's going to step into this role or not. Q is just implying that it could be added to the list, but it is an intriguing list. But until we get more information, there's no reason to really speculate there. But looks like good news, as Trump will be getting at least his share of picks in. All right, let's move on. 58 minutes after the hour of 3. Are you awake? Yes, I'm awake. I'm doing Q videos. MSM equals propaganda tool of the D Party. POTUS economy, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS job creating record, not good enough. Impeach. POTUS GPD, not good enough. Impeach. Fair trade, not good enough. Impeach. Manufacturing, not good enough. Impeach. Record low unemployment. Tax reform. Save the world from North Korea. Impeach, 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 impeach. Wow. Looks to me like Q is reading us a litany of things that the Trump administration has gotten achieved. And evidently, to the deep state, to the Democratic Party, to the mainstream media, it's not good enough. And of course, we know that MSM is a propaganda tool of the D Party. We've known that for a long time. We've known that for years. Down here, we get these ellipses again. And it makes me wonder if Q is again referencing all that evidence, all while under constant attack from the MSM. All these things right here that the POTUS is trying to get done. And it's amazing. I've never seen a more effective presidency. I've never seen a more hated presidency. And to think that you would see the two in the same presidency is absolutely incredible. What we're witnessing here is unbelievable progress. Do you not believe the truth is spreading? No, I do. It's spreading every day. Do you not believe they are losing their slave grip hold. Yeah, I think more and more people are deciding to walk away. More and people are getting so, if you want to call it red pill or whatever, but people are just getting disenfranchised. Look, when your party doesn't stand for anything, you're not going to keep people around for a long time. Do you not believe we are winning? I do. Do you? I do. Do you? Then it takes us to this Breitbart link right here. 72% of Americans believe establishment media deliberately report fake news. More than 2/3 of Americans, a full 72%, believe traditional news outlets knowingly report false or misleading stories, according to an Axios SurveyMonkey poll. Only 25% of Americans believe the media rarely or never deliberately report fake news. In other words, only 1/4 of the country believe the media are not guilty of intentionally spreading lies to mislead the American people. The partisan breakdown is even more revealing. A full 92% of Republicans believe the media intentionally mislead the public. Independents are not far behind with 79%. Even a majority of Democrats, 52%, agree, with only 46% disagreeing. Wow. And as if to prove the poll's point, the Axios report on its own bombshell poll is wildly misleading. No fair-minded journalist can look at these numbers and not be blown away by the fact that the establishment media has so lost the trust of the American that a breathtaking 72% now believe, and for good reason, fake news is reported deliberately. Yeah, well, that's exactly why folks like you and I are here right now, trying to get it figured out ourselves. Because people that were supposed to be the paid professionals weren't doing it for us. So some of us patriots decided to pick it up and figure it out. And we're doing pretty well. After all, it's just honest. Silent majority, no more. That's right. No reason for us to be silent. Think about it just a year ago, how rough it was to talk to your friends about being conservative. Now, you might ruffle some feathers, but you may not feel that same kind of vitriol that we felt a year ago, even just a year ago. Q says, fight, fight, fight. Where we go one, we go all. What a wonderful day. Q, and there's that reference again to wonderful day. Well, it looks like President Trump's having a wonderful day. This is off the POTUS schedule on Twitter. Wednesday, 27th of June, 2018. No additional POTUS travel outside the hotel secure area is expected for the remainder of today and tonight. Fantastic day. We are winning. Do you not believe we are winning? We are winning. Do you not believe we are winning? We are winning. What a wonderful day. Q. Moving on, Q adds on at 58 minutes after the hour of 3. GDP error. Link to article placed incorrectly. Busy day. Q. And it's talking about the link here and this, I think it was right here. Yeah, POTUS GPD, not good enough. So just correcting the spelling error. Let's move on. Next post comes in at 21 minutes after the hour of 6. Q says, sound familiar? And then we get this link to SaraCarter.com. I'm not going to read it for you all because you already know about it. Struck question by lawmakers, and it goes on to talk about the Judiciary and House Oversight Committee grilling Peter Strzok. And let me just give you the gist of it, what they got out of it. Representative Ron DeSantis says, who was also in attendance, told SaraCarter.com it was a waste. Strzok is full of it, and he kept hiding behind the classified information excuse. Well, that really shouldn't surprise us. He looks kind of like a cheeky character, doesn't he? Jim Jordan was there also. Told SaraCarter.com that Strzok should be back to testify at an opening hearing. And this is really the gist of this article here. The Judiciary Committee tweeted on Tuesday, Peter Strzok will be interviewed first in a closed-door deposition. There will be a classified information to sort through before a public hearing is held. A public hearing will be held. So there is the meat of the matter right there. It looks like Peter Strzok is going to be out on Front Street giving his testimony. So we can get your popcorn ready for that. And when this comes on, this Anon says here, 624, Q, not now. We're listening to some North Dakota guy talking before Trump speaks. Q says, just landed. You have time. And incidentally, this post happened just as I was waking up, or I think actually the first one, the sound familiar one, was happening when I was waking up. And that's when I got kind of started on looking at some of this. So Q is just simply saying that he is with the president. And at the time that this Anon was posting, this guy from North Dakota was speaking. And of course, there was a rally going on. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Let's move on to the next post. Next post is at 36 minutes after the hour of 6. Q adds on and says, good lot on Fox FBI attorney instructing Peter Strzok not to answer. Answers regarding texts not believable. Sound familiar? Rest assured, justice will be served. And let's hear just a little bit of that.
Here now with more on what happened behind the scenes. The man who led the questioning today of Peter Strzok, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Bob Goodlatte. Chairman, good to see you this evening. Thank you very much for being here.
Great to be with you, Martha, and your viewers.
So thank you. So what did you hear in there from Peter Strzok today?
Well, it's a confidential briefing, but I can tell you this, that we're now in the 10th hour and we have still many more questions to ask. However, unfortunately, the FBI counsel in the room has instructed Mr. Strzok not to answer many questions, and that's going to be a serious problem moving forward. So we'll be raising questions with the FBI and with the Department of Justice about why it is that their counsel is instructing Mr. Strzok
Can you give us a sense of what kind of questions he declined to answer?
These are questions that are central to our investigation related to primarily, we're asking questions about his central role in both the investigations related to Hillary Clinton and the investigations related to the Trump campaign and so-called Russia collusion. And these are questions not about the substance of that second investigation, but about the process of his getting involved in that. And they're advising him not to answer those questions. I think that's inappropriate and certainly not helpful to our investigation in the Congress.
So I would surmise that the nature of those questions had something to do with the initiation of all of this and whether or not he authorized or initiated any informants to try to interact with members of the Trump campaign or to try to create a pretext for an investigation. Were questions along those lines answered today?
There are a lot of questions like that, and as I say, the FBI is instructing Mr. Strzok not to answer many questions. At this point, I can't get into the details, but it is a very serious concern.
Well, there you have it. Looks like Peter Strzok is going to be put out into a public hearing. And of course, that is going to red pill that many more people. Now, I know a lot of us who have been following this for a long time are getting more and more impatient. But please keep in mind, many people have never heard all the details to what's going on. And this is still kind of unraveling in that outward narrative that I speak of a lot. And so hopefully this will get a lot of people turned on to what really is going on, because if Peter Strzok is being instructed not to answer all these questions and then he has to go to an open hearing, this is going to look really bad for Peter Strzok. Let's move on. Next couple pictures here are from the North Dakota rally. This is posted at 6:46, and we got a couple Q shirts right here in the front row. And then we got some guy with a really strange look behind him like, oh, I'm goosing you. Maybe he's goosing him. I hope he's not goosing you, bro. Maybe that's why he's got the face like that. He's like, am I getting goosed? I'm not sure. Anyway, that's all supposition. I'm just making that up. Q says, we see you. So many VIPs at the rally. And of course, the VIPs are these Q shirts. And we see tons of MAGA hats going on. In this picture, we see a whole bunch of more MAGA hats. Look at these guys. They all got their Q shirts on. They look like a band. This is In Sync right here. The cast of Glee. Hashtag winning. Patriots one and all. Q. And check them out. How adorable are they? They all got their own little personalized Q shirts going on. Everybody looks happy. That's the coolest thing about these rallies. Nobody looks miserable. Nobody looks like they're like, yeah, down with the system. No, everyone's like, no, up with this system. This is working. Everybody's happy. Imagine that. And of course, President Trump came out and he pumped everybody up. Made a bunch of air cues with his hands. You can go watch the video for yourself. He does it a whole bunch of times now. He points Q people out in the audience. It's really cool, and you can see by the happiness on their face, people are excited about their nation again. Hashtag winning. Patriots one and all. Q. Now this last post comes in at 26 minutes after the hour of 8. It's a Your Newswire link. Q says, coincidence? These people are sick, and it takes you to this right here. FBI, Clinton campaign official arrested on child rape charges. One of Hillary Clinton's campaign officials was arrested Tuesday on child sex abuse charges, the FBI has confirmed. Joel Davis was caught in possession of explicit child sex images and had attempted to get access to children as young as 2 years old for sex. Davis was chairman of the International Campaign to Stop Rape and Gender Violence in Conflict charity. He has also worked on Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. Daily Mail reports, Davis allegedly told undercover FBI agents that he was sexually interested in children of all ages. He is accused of sending the agents sexually explicit photographs of infants and toddlers, including some of the children engaged in sex acts with adults. The 22-year-old allegedly arranged to meet the 9-year-old daughter of one of the undercover agents and with the purported 2-year-old daughter of the officer's girlfriend. Yikes. So Creepy McCreepington here, 22 years old, chairman of the International Campaign to Stop Rape and Gender Violence and Conflict. So we got a virtue signaler here. Says he was sexually interested in children of all ages. What are you, freaking Barnum and Bailey? All right, so you know that the cabal is going to do their best to make sure that this gets covered up. So let's make sure that we put this guy's face just about everywhere so that everybody knows exactly who he was tied to. I hate talking about this stuff, but these people need to get exposed. All right, folks, those are your Q posts for today. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. For those of you who are new, please understand you will be unclicked, unliked, and unsubscribed. So just keep coming back and doing it all over again. I would greatly appreciate it. That's what you could do for me. And if you would like, where am I? There you go. If you are on Twitter, please join me at Twitter at IPOT1776. That's IPOT1776. When I'm not posting videos, I am generally here, but I do tend to post videos every 24 to 48 hours. And I'm also on Gab. Just search In Pursuit of Truth. That's all I got for you today, kids. And if any new Q comes up, you know I will be on it. And until next time, this is Sir Patrick Mack. Stay flexible. You don't want to pull a hammy.